all know that the computer responds to messages constructed in ones and zeros, but we rarely see this in our computers. And that is because we mostly interact with our computer using our cursor in our desktop, which is part of the computer's GUI.
Graphical User Interface or GUI is a form of user interface that allows the users to interact with what they see on the screen. As for Java, it fully supports GUI using the Abstract Window Toolkit or the AWT. Using the javax.swing package, you can place buttons, labels, text fields, and much more in your program. First things first, you must place import java.out and import javax.swing on top of your Java program. To create a simple JFrame, you need to follow this format. This line creates a new frame for you to use. Now, let's go through the different attributes that JFrame has to offer. Set default close operation allows you to close the window that will be opened. Set size and set location gives the size and location of your window. Set visible allows the window to be seen on screen. Get content pane. Set background changes the background color of the frame. And lastly, set resizable determines whether you can change the size of the window or not. Now, let's go through the different elements that you can add to your newly created window. The main flow on adding elements is initialize, construct, and add. Initialization is done in your public class outside of the constructor. The construct part is on the constructor, and this gives the details of your element. Lastly, addition of elements is also done in the constructor, and this adds the element to be shown in the frame. For JLabel, here's what you will put in your code. Labels have an attribute called setForeground, which changes the color of the text. Buttons can also be added using JButton using this format. More info will be given on buttons when we reach the mouse listener section. As for the other elements, you can find them in the drive link below.
The elements of your window can be organized into 4 different layouts. To change the layout, you need to use frameName.setLayout parenthesis new space type of layout. The first layout is called Flow Layout. This is the default layout that Java uses. Its name Flow implies that the elements will simply flow in a straight line and will move on to the next line if the line is full. A code using this layout can be found in a drive below.
The next layout is Border Layout. This layout divides the screen into 5 different parts: North, South, East, West, and Center. To change the layout of your screen to border layout, use this format. Next, to add elements in the different sections of the layout, you need to place another parameter in the add portion of your code. You need to use any of these formats.
For the third layout, it is called Grid Layout. Based on its name, it divides the entire screen into a sort of grid based on the parameters that you put. The format for this is grid layout parenthesis rows, columns. It adds elements starting from row 1, column 1, then it moves to row 1, column 2, and so on until it reaches all of the columns of row 1. It will then go to the next row and continue until all rows are full. A sample code using this can be found below.
As for the last layout, which is the complex layout, it is simply just the combination of the aforementioned layouts. To use this, you need to first divide the screen into different panels, with each panel having a different layout. The rules for each layout still follow in each of those frames.
Now, we will go through the different listeners that can give your GUI interactive features. The first type that we will go through is the key listeners. This can be triggered by pressing any key with the keyboard. There are three events within this listener: when the key is pressed, released, or typed. The format for all listeners will be like this. You need to type import space java.awt.event.asterisk in the top of portion of your code. Then, you need to create a custom class for a key listener using this format. After that, you need to add it on either a text field or the window by using .addKeyListener.
The second type is the mouse listener. This listens for any action of the mouse. The events that may trigger this are when the mouse is clicked, pressed, released, or when the mouse pointers enters or exits the window. This follows the same format as the key listener with some different syntax.
The last type is the window listeners. This is sometimes used as another way to close your window. The methods that may trigger this are activating, closing, deactivating, or opening a window. If you are still confused on how listener works, you can visit the drive link below and view the sample codes with helpful comments.
And that's it for the third and last episode of Animus Insider. We hope that you learned something useful and at least help you in some way. And that's all. Thanks for tuning in. This is Animus Insider signing off. Peace out. I mean peace. Not piss. Oh my god.